Welcome back. All right, so we're going to talk about the Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres continuing their record long streak of not making the playoffs, but it feels like it's almost over. That this is a team that should be a playoff team as soon as next year. And I don't know that I would have predicted that coming into this season, but they had quite the season. There were some career years here, so it's something to keep track of. And I've already talked about Calgary, Nashville as examples of teams that had guys with career years. They drop off, and then there wasn't that scoring to make up for those drop offs. So with Buffalo, that might be something to keep an eye on. But if we look at their points percentage, and again, because there's not 82 games in every season, so you can't just look at pure points, the percentage of points would tell you how they've played. Now, the first year they missed the playoffs was 2011 2012. They were 543 in their points percentage, so not bad. But they fell off after that. 2012 2013, they had a 500 record. 2013 2014, it dropped off a lot to 317. But they were in on the Connor McDavid sweepstakes, right? So the following season, 2014 2015, Buffalo's management tried to make sure this team could get themselves McDavid. So they finished 329 as their points percentage. They ended up drafting second that year instead of first. They lost the draft lottery. They got Eichel. And their points percentage improved a lot in 2015, 2016 to 494. So there was optimism in Buffalo then that Eichel would be able to lead them back to the playoffs. It was not to be. They dropped back down to 476 in 2016, 2017. 2017, 2018, they're back into the 300s at 378. 2018, 2019, they get better to 463. But again, below 500 in the NHL because of the 3-point system. You have to be pretty near the bottom to be below 500. They were 493 in 2019, 2020, where they barely missed that play-in round. If they had finished ahead of Montreal, we wouldn't be talking about their record-long streak of not making the playoffs. 2020, 2021, they had a 330 points percentage, which is an extremely low number for a team that wasn't tanking that year. 2021, 2022, 457 is their points percentage, and this year a huge improvement to 555. So you can see that like this is a team that has struggled with mediocrity, and this year's 555 points percentage is actually better than they were in 2011, 2012. It's the best season they've had in over a decade. So while yes, they still end up missing the playoffs, they got a lot better, and now they need to avoid that drop back down that they've had along the way, where things get better, but then they fall apart again. They need to avoid that. Now, Tage Thompson, a huge part of this team, quite literally and figuratively. 2020, 2021, 38 games, 8 goals, 6 assists, 14 points. Not a lot there, and there was a lot of discussion about where he stood in the lineup. 2021, 2022, and 78 games, 38 goals, 30 assists, 68 points. And then he signed that massive extension with the Buffalo Sabres, which had some wondering, if he's a one-year wonder, this may not age well. It aged very well. 78 games this year, 47 goals, 47 assists, 94 points. If he does reach 50 goals, he will be the tallest hockey player to ever reach 50 goals. One of those oddities that gets reported on. Then you have Jeff Skinner. Skinner, in 2020, 2021, in 53 games, he had 7 goals, 7 assists, 14 points. Skinner, good year, bad year, good year, bad year. So, since that was a bad year, he had a good year the year after. 80 games, 33 goals, 30 assists, 63 points. So, was this year a bad year? Quite the opposite. He actually got better. 79 games, 35 goals, 47 assists, 82 points. So, he may still not be playing up to the contract he's got signed, but it's nowhere near the issue that it was, say, 2 years ago when he had the 14 points in 53 games. And there was a lot of discussion about whether or not he was kind of done at the NHL level. Alex Tuch in Vegas in 2020, 2021, 55 games, 18 goals, 15 assists, 33 points. In Buffalo this year, 50 games, 12 goals, 26 assists, 38 points. Or last year, I should say for that. This year, 74 games, 36 goals, 43 assists, 79 points. Since arriving in Buffalo, Alex Tuch has been fantastic. He has been a game changer, and if it was Eichel for Tuch 1-for-1, be an odd trade, but I can't argue that it didn't benefit both teams in that direction. Eichel's been good for Vegas. He's given them what they want. May not be the kind of points that they wanted from him, but he's been very good. But Tuch has been a revelation for Buffalo so far. Rasmus Dahlin, the improvement from him has been fantastic. 2020, 2021, and 56 games, 5 goals, 18 assists, 23 points. Last year, 80 games, 13 goals, 40 assists, 53 points. This season, 78 games, 15 goals, 58 assists, 73 points. Dahlin has a skill level that would lead him to, I would think, 85, 90 points in his career. At some point, he'll have that career season. Maybe he gets close to or reaches 100 points if the scoring continues to be up in the National Hockey League. I also wanted to talk about Owen Power. Last season, in 8 games, 2 goals and an assist for 3 points. This year, 79 games, 4 goals, 31 assists, 35 points. I don't expect him to be top 3 in the voting for the Calder, but he is a fantastic defenseman, and he has a very bright future. And then you have Devin Levi, who made his debut towards the end of the season. He was 5-2 in those games down the stretch with a .905 save percentage. Clearly, Buffalo has faith in him and will be using him going forward, I would think, as their starter. And so that kind of solves a problem this team has had the last few years, which is getting that consistent, really good goaltending. And he may be that superstar goaltender they've needed for some time. So they started the season 7-3, and there was a lot of optimism. And I thought, it feels like this is more sustainable. And then they lost 8 in a row from November 4th to 19th. They also lost 8 of 9 from March 6th to March 21st, where they went 1-6-2. So yes, we can look back on that 8-game losing streak in November and the fact those were all in regulation and say that's where they missed the playoffs. But going 1-6-2 from March 6th to 21st, that kind of sunk them too. They were right in the hunt, and then that stretch took them out. They did win 7 of their last 9 games, so they absolutely brought themselves back into the hunt after. So like other young teams in the NHL, kind of streaky, yes. The confidence, kind of up and down. Don Granato, though, in his second full season as coach, I think he's shown that he's a very good coach at the NHL level, and I think he's earned himself another season. You look at that tremendous improvement by Buffalo this year, there's no argument against Don Granato returning next season. Their goals for per game, they were third in the NHL at 3.57. Remarkable. Really remarkable considering the expectations coming into this season. Their goals against, 3.63 goals against per game, which is 26th in the NHL. That does need to improve. A full season of Devin Levi, more games for Power and Dahlin to get used to playing in the National Hockey League and grow into their roles as top-notch defensemen in the NHL. That will help. A full, healthy season from Samuelsson would help as well. Their power play, 23.4%, was very good. The penalty kill was not at 73%. So that's something that will need to improve. And again, that reflects on the blue line and the goaltending a lot when it comes to the penalty kill. Their face-offs as well, they were worst in the league at 45.1%. Face-offs can be overblown and kind of focused on too much. But when you're losing that regularly, it's not great. You're chasing the puck often, likely losing a lot of face-offs in your own zone, which leads to other headaches and issues. So, yeah, being 32nd on face-off, something they're going to want to work on this summer, whether that means bringing in somebody else or just watching as these kids develop. Usually, players will come into the NHL. Their face-offs may not be great, but they learn and they get better. So their UFA list for this summer, not very long. I went over it twice. It's Okposo, it's Girgensons, it's Hinostroza. Girgensons will come back. Hinostroza, not sure. Okposo, I think, comes back. Okposo will not get the kind of contract he had last time out, but for Okposo, it's about winning and it's about leadership. So I would be very surprised if he doesn't return. The only RFA they have is Jost. Of course, if they don't qualify him, he becomes a UFA. But if they want to keep him around, it will not cost them a lot of money to do so. Their cap space for next year is a lot. $19,459,763. So according to Cap Friendly, they've got some cap space. They do not have to worry about any core guys who are going to cost them a ton of money because they've got most of them locked up. Skinner, $9 million till 2027. Again, that contract looked bad last year or 2 years ago. Now, not as bad. If he's scoring more than a point per game, you'll pay $9 million for that. $4.75 million for Tuck until 2026. That contract is a bargain. Thompson, $7.142 million until 2030. And again, at the time Thompson signs that contract, there was a lot of talk about, they're going to regret that. It's a one-year wonder. Nope, that contract looks like a bargain too, especially if he's going to reach 50 goals. Dylan Cousins, $7.1 million till 2030. He hit that next level this year. Rasmus Dahlin, $6 million till next summer. He's up. He's going to be expensive. So they have to make sure that while they've got this cap space here, they look ahead and go, okay, how much is the cap going to go up by in 2024? And it should be a lot. But you have to make sure you're saving enough money to pay Dahlin and to pay to improve other parts of the roster as well. And Samuelsson, $4.285 million a year until 2030 as well. Contract which is still an eyebrow-raising one. As Jeff Skinner asked him on Between Two Stalls, why do you have a goal song? And honestly, one of the greatest questions I've ever heard asked in my life. I thought that was great, but why? So for Samuelsson, he's not a goal scorer, but he is an excellent defensive defenseman, and having him in the lineup for 82 games would definitely help when it comes to making the playoffs. One thing is they have 2 second-round picks this year. They have their own and for the Flyers. So there's a possibility they could take those 2 draft picks and trade up. Or at the very least, they'll get 3 pretty good prospects in a deep draft. Buffalo has been pretty good at the draft table lately, so we'll see how things work for them this year. November 4th, 2021. I think we're going to look back on this date as one that really transformed the Buffalo Sabres, where Jack Eichel and a 2023 third-round pick were traded to Vegas in exchange for Alex Tuch, Peyton Krebs, who's not on the board, but Krebs kind of lost by the end of this season, but I still think there's potential there. A 2022 first, they used that to draft Noah Ostlund, and a 2023 second-round pick. So that's another pretty good draft pick that they have for themselves, and we'll see how things turn out for them. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do the Buffalo Sabres get back into the playoffs next year? Do the Buffalo Sabres spin their wheels again? Let me know your thoughts regarding that. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. And I got to admit, I'm rooting for the Sabres this coming season. I'm glad they got the goat head back, and I think this is part of the reason they started winning again. Goat head. They needed that. Anyways, let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.